Everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So I have a little bit of a different kind of story today. It's about residents who are in various states that are suffering from cancer and miscarriages and other various illnesses, and they filed lawsuits against a company called Sterigenics. They allege that the company actually caused their health issues. So, for example, 6 of the women included in the lawsuit worked at the same local high school, which is located near a Sterigenics plant in Willowbrook, Illinois. All 6 of the women were diagnosed with cancer. So, Sterigenics is a medical sterilization company, and they have locations in Atlanta, Georgia, Willowbrook, Illinois, or at least they did, as well as various locations throughout the United States. And as of August, the number of cases filed in Illinois alone reached more than 700. But recently, additional cases have been filed in Georgia. So the lawsuit alleges that Sterigenics knew that it was using a chemical known to be carcinogenic, meaning that it causes cancer, yet they chose to ignore the risk and they had emitted this toxic chemical into the area surrounding their plants. The complaint states, quote, notwithstanding, defendants chose to operate their business and emit ETO in a densely populated area full of children, houses, parks, schools, and businesses. So what is ETO? ETO stands for ethylene oxide, and the EPA's website states that chronic long-term exposure to this chemical can cause irritation of eyes, skin, nose, throat, and lungs, as well as damage to your brain and nervous system. And it states, quote, there also is some evidence linking ethylene oxide exposure to reproductive effects. EPA has concluded that ethylene oxide is carcinogenic to humans by the inhalation route of exposure. Evidence in humans indicates that exposure to ethylene oxide increases the risk of lymphoid cancer and for females, breast cancer. So although ethylene oxide has been on the list of carcinogens with the federal government since 1985, it wasn't until more recently that the EPA discovered that this stuff is really super dangerous. It is very, very toxic. In fact, it wasn't until 2016 that the EPA found that even just tiny concentrations and minimal exposure to ethylene oxide can cause several various types of cancer, including breast cancer, but also leukemia and lymphoma. However, it wasn't until 2018 that the EPA finally warned residents surrounding this facility in Willowbrook, Illinois, and told them that, hey, your neighborhoods are heavily polluted. They were among a few dozen in the country, a few dozen neighborhoods in the country where the air pollution exceeded EPA agency guidelines, and their guidelines are pretty lax. So the only good news here in all of this, because there really is none. I mean, these people have gone through hell. People have died from this. The only good news is that the Sterigenics in Willowbrook, Illinois, has been shut down. They decided to leave. So they announced just over a year ago that they were shutting down their plant in Illinois because the Illinois EPA, the state EPA, had granted them a new permit, but they would have been required to reduce their ethylene oxide emission to 85 pounds. So just to give you a sense of how out of control this company was prior to this change, they released 4,600 pounds in 2017, which was legal, by the way. And between the years 1993 to 2017, they released a combined 254,000 pounds of this toxin just in Willowbrook. So that's not combined throughout the country. That's just in that one city. So how did they get away with this kind of crap? Well, for one, as we all know, corrupt politicians. I mean, it's kind of the common denominator in every story, isn't it? So the former governor, a man named Bruce Rauner, tried to play down the health risks of ethylene oxide in Willowbrook, Illinois. Why? Because he owned a stake in the company. Rauner apparently co-founded a private equity firm that purchased the company in 2011. And he still, to this day, owns stock in Sterigenics. This is why we need regulations. This is why we need to keep tabs on these people and make sure that they do what's right. And it's why our elected officials should not be allowed to own stock in companies. If you want to be a representative of we the people, of the citizens, you should not have any dual loyalties. You should not have these conflicts of interest where you can make money by looking the other way about something that is literally killing people. And here's the really bad news. Sterigenics is just one of many facilities throughout the country that's still using this chemical. They're still legally allowed to use this cancer-causing toxic poison. It's unbelievable. And people want to deregulate. Everybody thinks deregulation is awesome. Oh, it's going to help businesses grow. It's such a positive thing. We got to get rid of all the red tape. Okay, so the companies are able to make more profit. They're able to line their pockets, pay their CEOs top dollar, but at what cost? If we leave it up to the companies to regulate themselves, I'm sorry. That's insane. It's like leaving a 2-year-old alone with a bag of candy and expecting the kid to show restraint. It's just not going to happen. Companies have proven over and over again for centuries, they put profits over people every single time they are given the choice and the chance to. We have to regulate these companies. I'm not saying over-regulation. I'm not saying you go crazy and you stifle innovation and growth, but you can't deregulate to the point that people are literally being killed by their negligence. You have to strike a balance. You have to keep people safe. I'm sorry, but people's lives are more important than money. Anyway, guys, thought you might find that interesting that this kind of crap is going on. And, we wonder why so many people in the United States are sick, why so many people have diseases. It's exactly because of stuff like this. So as always, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for listening. I will talk to you soon. Take care. Thanks for listening to Plants and Politics. The only way we can take our country and power back is to spread the truth and build an army. So remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again.